What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. And that was one hell of a goddamn game last night between the Toronto Raptors and the Boston Celtics. And it looked like, Boston had this series wrapped up. It really did. That was a beautiful feed from Kemba Walker to Danny Thies for that dunk with 0.5 seconds remaining. I mean, beautiful. Pinpoint. Kemba Walker had a really strong game last night, and it looked like this series was over. But, I was thinking, okay, they don't really have a shot here. First of all, Brad Stevens is a really good coach, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, the other day I was telling y'all, I don't like when they always give certain coaches all the credit, and then other coaches, they don't give them the credit as much. But Brad Stevens has been coaching his ass off, and these Boston Celtics have been playing their ass off. And they really should have won yesterday. They really should have. Under 99 times out of 100, they would have won that game. But sometimes miracles happen. And, you know what I'm saying, despite the fact that they put that monster on Kyle Lowry, he was able to find, OG for that miracle shot. You know what I'm saying? I mean, to me, I was thinking the only thing they can do is either some type of lob to the basket or an immediate catch and shoot. And, they were able to do that. You know what I'm saying? Kyle Lowry found a briefly open OG Anunoby, and he was able to catch and shoot. He got off in time. I mean, it was a really perfect pass right to him. And he was able to shoot it. And I didn't think it was going to go in. I thought it was going to be short, but it went in. And, in my head, I'm thinking, did he get it off in time? You know what I'm saying? When they showed the replay, he got off in time. Matter of fact, it wasn't even close. And the last time I saw anything like that in the playoffs was when Derek Fisher hit that buzzer beater against the Spurs. What was that, 2004, I think it was? It might have been the 2004 Western Conference Finals, I think. That's the last time I saw anything like that, man. When all the Lakers ran off the floor to make sure, they're like, fuck this, we're going to run off this court. We won this goddamn game. This whole game was a very close back and forth affair. Boston had the advantage in the first half, but Toronto kept clawing their way back into it in the second half. It wasn't that they were getting blown out, but Boston might have a 6-7 point lead, but then here comes Kyle Lowry, here comes, Fred VanVleet, who, I'm going to tell you something. Fred VanVleet is a real stud of a player. You know what I'm saying? When I say stud, I mean he's the type of guy who is not afraid of the moment. He grew on me last playoffs. He had stretches where I remember he was going through a little stretch right before the birth of his child, where he was struggling a little bit, but then coming to NBA Finals last year, so he came alive. So he's earned my respect. Kyle Lowry has really redeemed himself over the past several years. You know what I'm saying? He was known for being a choke artist in the playoffs when he and DeMar DeRozan were together. But the last couple of years, he has stepped up, in a lot of different playoff games, and he's shaking off a lot of that moniker that he had of being a guy who just was bound to disappoint in the playoffs and underperform in the playoffs. But you know, look, you can look at this two different ways. You know what I'm saying? This game. You can look at this two different ways. You can look at it as, if you're Boston, it took a miracle shot for them to win this game. A shot that they're not going to make most of the time. And we really should be up 3-0. So we just got to go through what we normally do. Let's go do what we normally do, and we're going to beat them. Instead of it just being a sweep, we're going to beat them in 5. That's how you can look at it if you're Boston. You know what I'm saying? And if you're Toronto, you can look at it as, this is the momentum shift that we need to get back into this series. You know what I'm saying? That's how you can look at it as. This is our first win against this team in the bubble. That's a psychological boost that we needed. Now we just need to make some adjustments to get back into the series. They got to get Pascal Siakam going because he's been struggling. From what I could tell, this entire series, definitely the last 2 games, he's been struggling. You know, they got to get Pascal Siakam going. They got to get their perimeter guys going. They were finally going this game. You know, Fred VanVleet, you know, Kyle Lowry, Norm Powell. But these guys got to really start getting it going in this series if they want to come back and do the impossible. You know what I'm saying? But look, I still think Boston is going to win this series. At the end of the day, I think that Nick Nurse is a good coach, but I just think that Boston Celtics are a better. I just think Boston is a more polished team, and I don't know, man. Like, without a guy, see, this is the thing. Without having a guy like Kawhi Leonard in certain situations, like these down the stretch situations, that's something that the Raptors are lacking. I never was totally sold on Pascal Siakam. You know, a lot of people felt like Pascal Siakam was going to be the superstar. He's a fine player. But, you know, Pascal Siakam to me is like I don't know. I'm trying to compare him to somebody. Even though I think Otis Thorpe was better, but he's like an Otis Thorpe, man. You know, he's a really good player, but he's not the type of guy that you're going to build your team around. You know, like he's not that type of guy. They need a definite leader and a go-to guy in certain situations. Boston has quite a few of those guys. Jason Tatum, Kemba Walker's that type of player. Marcus Smart, even though he's a guy that can go hot and cold, he's a guy that can deliver at times. Toronto, the only guy they really have like that is a Fred VanVleet. But Fred VanVleet, you know, he's not a superstar. You know, Kyle Lowry, he can be, even though he's playing better, he's not, you know what I'm trying to say, they don't have that dominant guy. Like Jimmy Butler is the type of guy that is a clutch shot maker, you know what I'm saying? And Toronto sometimes lack that at times, now that they don't have Kawhi Leonard there anymore. You know what, man, I still got to agree with Ticket on something, though, man. You're trying to tell me they could have kept Kawhi Leonard if they had just agreed to that trade with, Russell Westbrook, and they didn't pull the trigger on that? Man, these are some stupid motherfuckers, man. Wow. Man, whatever. But anyway, yeah, I just think Boston's going to win the series. And I think Brad Stevens has been out-coaching Nick Nurse so far. That was a miracle shot in my opinion. If it wasn't for that shot, Boston would be up 3-0. And I think Boston just has to keep that mindset like that was a lucky shot. We can't get fazed by that. And we just got to do what we got to do, and we'll knock this team off, you know what I'm saying? But, if Toronto somehow, pulls it off, they'll pull it off, But tell me what you guys think. Oh, and by the way, it's funny how I forgot to mention this, guys. I meant to mention this earlier. Almost forgot. It's funny how when Kyrie Irving got injured, right? A couple years ago when he was still in Boston, right? Remember that year he got injured? And they kept talking about, remember first Gordon Hayward had that injury, then Kyrie went down, and Boston wound up playing in the Eastern Conference Finals. And everybody was like, whoa, look how good this team is playing without Kyrie Irving, but never mentioning Gordon Hayward, right? Now look how good Boston's playing without Gordon Hayward. Anybody shitting on Hayward? I mean, does anybody bring up the fact that Gordon Hayward has not fulfilled that contract? I don't want to hear shit about injuries no fucking more. I want to hear fucking shit about his fucking foot. That was 3,000 fucking years ago. He's a fucking bust. Okay? He's a bust. I'm sick of the media giving certain players passes for being bust. Oh, he's been playing. No, fuck all right. Okay? Fuck he's playing all right. Fuck 15-8. Fuck that shit. He's supposed to be averaging 20-8 or something like that. 20 points minimum. He's supposed to have been, by default, the second best player, the best player on Boston. But you know how it is. You know what's up. You know what's up with that. But tell me what you guys think.